Hello everyone and welcome to or welcome back to Tindalos Gaming and welcome to another playthrough of Arkham Horror the Living Card Game. This time round something slightly different. We're continuing playing Legacy, so we've not playing Chapter 2 just yet. A little bit restricted at the moment. I haven't got the investigator decks, 5 of them that I've ordered, unfortunately, Asmodee or haven't been able to get them out to the UK for some of the suppliers, so I'm having to wait for mine. So I'm going to continue to play some Legacy for the time being. And I'm going to do a one-shot, the Blob That Ate Everything. Never played this scenario, and it looks real fun, so I'm looking forward to playing it. So let's get across to the Arkham DB to see what decks I'm playing with. Okay, here we are at the Arkham DB website. I want to shout out to Valentine 1331. This is the deck that I've based my deck on. It's not exactly the same because I don't have all the cards that are in this deck, but I wanted to give a shout out to Valentine 1331, who's put this lovely deck together based on the Gift and Nodens skill. Is it a skill or an event? I'll come to it in a sec. Anyway, here is my deck that I've put together, and you'll have noticed I've spent 19 experience, so we are going to be putting an additional weakness into the deck because I wanted to sort of beef it up a little bit, have a bit of fun, and I don't think standard decks with no experience are going to do much against the Blob That Ate Everything. So here I'm playing Hank Samson. Never played this investigator. I've gone a bit different this time round. I'm going with Survivor and Rogue, classes that I don't necessarily play a lot. So I'm wanting to sort of spread my wings when it comes to the investigators I'm playing. So Hank Samson, he is a survivor, investigator, obviously assistant warden. He's got a willpower of 3, an intellect of 1. He has a juicy combat of 5, an agility of 3, but only 5 health and 5 sanity. He may be assigned damage or horror dealt to ally assets or other investigators at his location. And he's got a trigger when he would be defeated by damage and or horror. Instead, heal all of your damage and horror and swap this card with its bonded resolute version, either side face up. Quite an interesting mechanic. So there is a second investigator card with Hank, which may well come into play as we play through the Blob That Ate Everything. He can take survivor cards 0 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and up to 10 other innate or spirit cards levels 0 to 2. So what we got in the deck? Well, I've spent 6 XP on the fire extinguisher. It's a 2 cost. You get +1 fight and +1 damage, and you can discard it to automatically evade all enemies engaged with you. Handy because discarding and having stuff in the discard pile is something that's going to come in and really helpful for Hank as we go on. We've then got 2 improvised shields that can only be played from our discard pile. You can see a theme here, but that gives us a nice health sink of 3. Then we've got the meat cleaver, 2 of those. Get +1 fight, +2 fight if you have 3 or fewer remaining sanity. And if this attack defeats an enemy, we can heal a horror. As an additional cost to initiate this ability, you may take 1 horror to have it deal +1 damage. So we'll see how we go with that. Now, spent 10 XP on the Gift of Nodens, this is basically the engine of the card. Costs 2 to get out. When you commit cards to a skill test you are performing, choose a survivor skill card in your discard pile and discard 1 card from your hand. Commit the chosen skill to this test. After this skill test resolves, place that skill card on the bottom of your deck. So that should be us being able to recycle or use our discard pile as a resource. 2 profane idols, again sanity 3 soak, can only be played from our discard pile, and when it's defeated we shuffle it into our deck instead of discarding it. I got a leather coat just for a bit of soak. We've got 2 copies of Peter Sylvester. I don't believe these were in the original deck, but I was struggling to find other stuff to put in. So Peter in a survivor deck, he's always going to be good. We've got 2 Sparrow masks, which gives us an offering for +2 will or +2 agility. Hopefully that will help. We've got permanent, which again is part of the engine. It's obviously being permanent, it starts in play when we start playing, and when the first turn of the game begins, we're going to discard the top 10 cards of our deck, hopefully then using Gift of Nodens. We've got 2 improvised weapons. Again, you can play that. You don't have to play it from your discard pile. You may play it from your discard pile. And it gets the attacked enemy gets -1 fight for this attack, so it's basically us +1. And if we play it from our discard pile, we do +1 damage, which is nice. Then our skills. We've got 2 of Not Without a Fight. It's got a will icon, fight icon, agility icon. It can only commit it if we're engaged with an enemy. And for each enemy engaged, we get +1 to those stats for each enemy engaged. 1 copy of Hardboiled, which gives us a fight and a wild for each successful attack. So if we hit him more than once, that's nice. Helping Hands, we can commit that to any type of test when we're going to double the skill icons of each other card committed to that test. Very nice. 2 Last Chance, that's got 5 wild icons on it. We lose a wild icon for each card in our hands. 2 Long Shots, we can commit that to a fight or an evasion test. If we are successful, then we deal +1 damage to the enemy. 2 Purified, this wasn't in the deck, I put it in just for a bit of fun. If we're successful, for each point we succeed by, we can add blessed tokens or remove curse tokens, but obviously we'll be adding blessed tokens. We've got 2 Quick Thinking. If we're successful by 2 or more, we can make an action straight away. 2 Resourceful. We can choose a card in our discard pile and add it to our hands. 1 Strong Armed, which is when we're committing it to a melee. In Hank's case, it'd be a melee attack. Deals +1 damage. And then after revealing the Chaos token for this skill test, we may take 1 damage to cancel that and reveal a new one. We've got 2 Unrelentings. After you commit Unrelenting to a skill test, search the Chaos bag for up to 3 non-symbol tokens and seal them on Unrelenting. If all 3 tokens are +1, 0, blessed and or the Elder Sign, draw 2 cards. And then we've got Where's Par? We've got Stout Hearted, which is his deck only. Fast, play when you engage a non-elite enemy. Move up to 2 damage and or horror from Hank Samson to that enemy as damage. That's very nice. Where's Par's his Treachery? Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. Attach Where's Par to that enemy and spawn it in a connecting location if able. And it gains elusive. At the end of the round, Hank Samson takes 1 direct horror. So we're going to have to kill that thing. Got our 2 weaknesses. I've drawn Internal Injury, which is not very nice for Hank, which is take a direct damage, 2 actions to get rid of it. And the mob's after him as well. Fight 4, health 3, fade 3. We can try and parlay with it to get rid of it. So that is Hank, all sorted out. Like I say, not exactly the same as the deck that Valentine had put together, but it's the deck I've got the cards for. So we're playing 2-handed, and my second investigator is Trish Scarborough. Again, never played her. And this is the deck that I've based my deck on by Dr. Makito, and it's the Red Clock deck. It all revolves around an asset called the Red Clock, and I'll come to that in a second. But this was the deck I've based my deck on, so thank you, Dr. Makito. Really good write-up as well. But let's go across and see what I've got in my deck. So for Trish, she is obviously got willpower 2, intellect 4, combat 2, agility 4. So she's not too bad. Health of 8, sanity of 6. After she discovers one or more clues at a location with an enemy, we can either discover an additional clue at that location or automatically evade that enemy. Very nice. Elder Sign effect is +2. If this is an investigation, you may choose any revealed investigate location. You are now investigating as if you were at that location instead. She can take rogue cards 0 to 5, neutral cards 0 to 5, and seeker cards 0 to 2. And again, she spent 19 experience. So we've got the Grim Memoir, 2 of those. Uses secrets. There's a reason that that's in the deck. So you can spend a secret, investigate at +2 intellect. And if we succeed by 2 or more, we can draw a card. We've got the magnifying glass, +1 while investigating, standard for a seeker. We've got 2 copies of the 1 XP blur, where we can evade using our will instead of our agility. We'll never be doing that, but we get +1 to this skill, and if we succeed, we can take an additional action. We'll be using our agility for that because it says you may use your will. We won't be. We've got 2 obfuscations. It uses 3 charges. Also, blur uses charges as well. Obfuscation. It's fast. When an enemy makes an attack of opportunity against you, spend 1 charge, cancel that attack. The Red Clock. Here's where the engine starts again. So it's a 2 cost, 5 XP. Exceptional. Uses 0 charges. We'll come to that in a sec. But after your turn begins, you may take all charges here as resources. Place 1 charge here. If it has exactly 1 charge, you get +4 skill value for the next skill test. 2 charges, you may move up to 3 times. 3 charges, you may take 2 additional actions this turn. So really that's where we want to be getting to, 3 charges. What we've then got is, I'm going to skip one, I'm going to come back. We've got the Eldritch Sophist. He uses 3 secrets, but his thing, exhaust him, move 1 secret or charge from an asset you control to another asset controlled by an investigator at your location. So what we're hopefully going to be doing with the Eldritch is moving stuff around to keep the Red Clock at 3 charges to give us those additional turns. We've got a backpack which helps us search for those items. We're really looking for the Sophist or the Red Clock in our mulligan. We've got Lola Santiago, cost 3 XP, 2 sanity, 2 health. We get +1 intellect and +1 agility. We can exhaust, spend X resources and discover 1 clue at your location. X is the shroud of your location. She's very good for Trish. We've got the classic combo of Fieldwork and Pathfinder. Fieldwork, we get +2 when we move to a location. Pathfinder allows us to move to that investigation. We've got 2 Burning the Midnight Oils, where when we begin and investigate, we gain 2 resources. We've got 2 Crack the Cases, where we can play after we discover the last remaining clue, and then we get that many resources, depending on what the shroud value of the location is. We've got 2 emergency caches, which is obviously fairly straightforward. We've got an In the Shadows. Play after our turn begins. It's fast. Disengage from each enemy engaged with you. And until the end of the round, enemies cannot engage you and cannot deal damage to enemies. Straightforward. We've got Shortcut, which helps us move. Again, it's fast. We can move to a connecting location. We've got Working a Hunch, fast. We can play that to discover a clue. We've got 2 Deductions, where we get an additional clue when we're doing a skill test. We've got drawing the sign, which is our weakness. Our hand size reduced by 5, and it takes us 2 to get rid of it. 2 actions. We've got shadow agents. Trish Scarborough deck only. They're going to hunt us. Fight 3, evade 5, health 3. And when they're engaged with us, we can't discover clues except by investigating. And then we've got the Silver Twilight Acolyte as, again, another basic weakness, more chasers. So there we go. That's it for our decks. What we're going to do now is we're going to get across to the table and we're going to start to put together the Blob That Ate Everything scenario. So I'll see you across at the table in a second. Oh, I had a panic there. I thought the cameras stopped working. Right, here we are at the table. Standard hand wiggle to make sure everything's working correctly. First things first, we have our coffee with sugar. We are about to set up the Blob That Ate Everything scenario. A couple of little bits and bobs though. Done a little bit of an upgrade to the sort of bits and bobs on the side there. So we're now tracking health, sanity, clues and resources. Look a bit more in keeping with Arkham Horror. Right, where do I start? Let's start by reading the little booklet that comes with the Blob That Ate Everything. We're playing on standard mode. So we've got our chaos bag set up for standard. We are playing obviously just as a standalone scenario. We're not playing massive multiplayer or anything like that. And it's got a special rule in here, devour. During this scenario, subject AL08 can devour a variety of things. If a card is devoured, it's placed beneath subject AL. They're considered to be out of play, and each devoured card is returned to its owner's deck at the end of the game. If an investigator is devoured, he or she is killed. If a token is devoured, it's placed in the token pool. When choosing a location to be devoured, you cannot choose to devour a location if it causes another location to have no valid connections. And 8L08 can devour certain aspects of reality or metaphysical objects. If it does, you'll be instructed of the consequences. Sounds nice. We've got countermeasures. Countermeasures represent supplies, research or military equipment which may aid the investigators in their survival. Countermeasures may be spent via certain card abilities in order to trigger powerful effects. However, gaining one new countermeasure is rare, so be careful how you spend them. Story cards are a new type of card type in this scenario. These cards serve as an avenue for additional narrative and typically appear as the reverse side of another scenario card. When you're instructed to resolve a story card, simply read its story text and resolve its game text, if any. Blob X. Many of the enemies in this scenario are pieces of the anomaly which are broken apart and have their own sentience. Defeating these enemies damage the anomaly. An enemy with Blob X is when an enemy with Blob X is defeated, deal X damage to subject AL. I'm just going to call it AL. Enemies with Blob X are not placed in the victory display when they are defeated unless they also have Victory X. Subject AL is an enemy card with a different card template than most enemies. Let's have a look at that now. So, it's a bit difficult because it's green. It's got 15 health per investigator, so it starts off with 30. It's massive, ooze, elite. And it gets plus 15 health, so it's at 45 health to start off with. And if it's defeated, we go to resolution 2. So that's just going to stay to the side there, ready for us to do stuff with it. Epic multiplayer mode, we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so the Blob That Ate Everything. Incident report 8L08, Thursday, 7th of May, 1928. Or if you're American, the 5th of July. Blackwater, Maine. 0312 hours. Impact event just outside of Blackwater. Intercepted police call. Agents sent to investigate. Interviewed local farmer Ron Graham. Claims meteor was several feet wide, greenish hue. Crater roughly 100 yards in diameter. Radiation detected in outlying area. Recommend immediate quarantine and further observation by research team. Situation under control. Really, it wasn't under control. That was the report the G-men took when they first arrived. For the next few days, the town of Blackwater was on lockdown. The impact was all that was talked about in the papers, but not much was known aside from the enormous crater and the effect it had on the countryside. Nobody was allowed to leave the town, and only those approved by the shadowy government agency were allowed to enter. Those unfortunate few, including high-ranking government agents and a team of researchers from nearby Miskatonic University, who were summoned to investigate the meteor itself. For the rest of the town's inhabitants, it was a strange occurrence, nothing more, that is, until the meteor hatched. Delightful. I saw it with my own eyes. When the anomaly emerged, the first thing it did was devour the team of researchers who'd been sent to collect and study samples from the meteor. The next thing it did was devour their lab equipment, then Ron Graham's tractor, then his house in entirety. It continued to grow and spread, devouring everything in its path. I barely escaped with my life. When the army arrived, they thought they could kill it with bullets and shells. Everything they threw at the creature was devoured, one round after the next. Then it split into hundreds of smaller pieces of itself, and the army was quickly overwhelmed. While the battle raged on, myself and others back in town saw lights and shapes in the sky above. Something was up there, waiting, biding time. The quarantine still holds, and we're stuck in the middle of it. It won't be long before the anomaly has grown large enough to devour everything in Blackwater. And if that happens, who could possibly stop its rampage? Setup. Gather all cards from the Blob That Ate Everything encounter set, and that's obviously got an icon. We're playing in single group mode, so we've got the single group encounter. Set all cards from the My Go Incursion encounter set aside out of play. Done that. Search the Blob That Ate Everything encounter set for the following encounter cards and set them aside out of play. Vulnerable Heart, 1 copy of Grasping Ooze, 1 copy of Cubic Ooze, and both copies of Ooze Wraith. Put the subject 8L enemy into play next to the agenda. It is not at any location. Set up the locations according to the guidelines below. So we've got the quarantine zone, got to shuffle those. I'd already taken one out aside, but let's do it on camera. Cat Weasel cut, and that one's going to go out of play. And then we're going to place them. So let's just do this. One there. 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 And one there. My God, this is a big scenario. I haven't got a lot of space. We start at the temporary HQ. I've done that a little bit wrong. I don't think it really makes a lot of difference. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. If we're playing single player mode, we place 1 resource, which I've done. I'm using an exhausted token. And on the scenario reference card, that's a countermeasure. Shuffle the remainder of the encounter cards to form the encounter deck. and then we're ready to play. All right, so let's shuffle. These have been shuffled, but we'll shuffle them on screen. Oh my goodness me. Straight away. Cat Weasel Cut. That's our encounter deck. We'll up there, out of the way. We'll do Hank's deck as well while we're down here. Trish's deck. Cat Weasel Cut. Drink of coffee. So other than the quarantine zones, we've got a temporary HQ, we've got the crater, we've got a research site down here, and then we've got a fungus mold mound down here. So those are sort of not special, but they are particular areas we can get to. So let's have a look on our scenario cards. We've got the skull is -1 for every 5 cards underneath subject 8L. The cultist is -2. If this token is revealed during an attack against an enemy, that enemy gains retaliate for this attack. The stone tablet is -3. After this skill test ends, subject 8L devours each card that was committed to the test. And the elder thing is -5. Choose up to 5 cards from your hand. Subject 8L devours each of those cards. You get +1 skill value for this test for each card devoured this way. Very nice. But we have got one countermeasure on there we need to remember. Act 1A is expose the anomaly. Objective: at the start of the round, investigators may spend 4 clues to advance. Beware, advancing would expose the anomaly's weak spot. Be ready for a fight. I think that's where the vulnerable heart comes into play. So we need 4 clues to expose it. We need to be sort of ready for a fight. And then we've got agenda 1A. The anomaly spreads. Yeah, we're in the town of Blackwater when the impact event occurred. For several days you investigated the matter until the anomaly emerged and all hell broke loose. Fleeing is no longer an option as the quarantine still holds and is strictly enforced. The only way you're getting out of here alive is if you can find a way to kill the anomaly, if such a thing is even possible. Each location is connected to each location adjacent to it orthogonally. 6 doom on that to advance it. So everything's connected to everything else. We can go left, we can go right, we can go up, we can go down. We can't go diagonally. Right, I think we're ready to go. We've set our health at 45, or the blob's health at 45. We're not discarding cards yet. We are drawing our hand up. So Hank's going to draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's Hank going to get? Hank's got an unrelenting. He's got a fire extinguisher. He's got strong arms. Keep that. He's got improvised weapon and he's got last chance. Well, I think the 2 skills I'm going to chuck back because I want those to be in my discard pile. But I haven't got a gift of Nodens. Do we actually thinking about it? I'm going to keep the fire extinguisher, but I'm going to ditch everything else because I'm hard mulliganing for the gift of Nodens. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a long shot. We've got an improvised weapons. We've got a Where's Pa, and we've got a stout-hearted. We draw a card for Where's Pa, and we haven't got a gift of Nodens, which is a bit disappointing. Hopefully it's in there somewhere. Do a cat weasel cut. Trish, she is hard mulliganing for our ally, the sophist, and the red clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have got a weakness. We'll draw another card. We've got a backpack. We've got a Lola. We've got an obfuscation. We have got our red clock. Obfuscation. And we've got a work and a hunch. Well, I think I'm going to keep the backpack. Do I keep the work and the hunch? Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the work and the hunch. Get rid of those two. So drawing 2 more, we're going to get an emergency cash. Shadow, we're going to draw a card. Got a deduction. Okay. We've got part of the engine. We've got part of the engine. Did I need the backpack? Oh, too late now. Didn't really need the backpack. I'm searching for our ally. Right. We're going to flip over the temporary HQ. No clues on it. It's 2 shrouds. But we can spend a countermeasure there to either heal 3 damage, heal 3 horror, gain 5 resources, or draw 3 cards. So, start of the first turn. I'm going to discard the top 10 cards of my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got a meat cleaver. We've got a purified. We've got a sparrow mask. We've got a hard boiled. We've got another meat cleaver. We've got a not without a fight. We've got a second copy of purified. We've got an improvised shield. We've got a gift of Nodens in there. And we've got a helping hand. Okay. What are we doing? Well, first action, we'll pay 2, down to 3, to play our fire extinguisher. Second action. Let's move to this quarantine zone. See what's going on here. Let's flip it over. Desiccated farmland. 3 shroud comes in with 2 clues. And whilst we're at desiccated farmland, you cannot gain resources. That was my second action. And after you end your turn at desiccated farmland, lose 1 resource. So I'm going to move back to the temporary HQ. And that's it for Hank. He's spent 2 resources. 1, 2, down to 3. Go to Trish. I think she can afford to do this. So first action, spend 2 resources. 1, 2. She'll play the red clock. Hasn't got any charges on it, and our turn's already began, so we don't get to put any charges on it at the moment. Second action, she'll pay 2 down to 1. 1, 2. To play the backpack, search the top 6 cards of your deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looking for an item or a supply card. Magnifying glass. That's it. Cat weasel cut. Magnifying glass goes under backpack, but I'm immediately going to pay 1 to play it. And no action. It's fast. So she's not got no resources left, but for her last action, she'll play an emergency cash to get herself 3 resources. 1, 2, 3. That's it for Trish. That is it for Trish. We go to the enemy phase. No enemies in play. Drink some more coffee before it goes cold. We'll go to the upkeep phase. We're ready up. Still at the temporary HQ. We get our actions back. We gain a resource. Hank goes to 4. And Trish goes to 4. We draw a card. Hank is going to get strong armed. And Trish is going to get shortcut. Okay. That's not too shabby. Nothing else to do in the upkeep phase. We go to the mythos phase. We put 1 Dame of 6 onto the agenda. Hank is going to draw a card. He gets Oozling. Spawn at any empty ooze field location. Well, let's spawn it because that's where we're going to go, at the desiccated farmland. 2 fight, 3 health, 2 to evade. And it's got Blob 1. It's got Blob 1. And then Trish is going to get reality acid. Revelation. Subject 8L devours a random aspect of reality. Reveal 2 random chaos tokens from the chaos bag and consult page 6 to 19. Ooh. Okay. 2 random chaos bag tokens. We'll do those 2. We've got a -2 and an auto fail. Oh God. -2. Ah, auto fail with -2 is we lose a countermeasure. That's a bit annoying. That's a bit annoying. Don't forget to put those back in the bag. Well, we had a countermeasure. It's gone. Investigator phase. All right, so let's get Hank's going to move in for his first action to the desiccated farmland, engaging the oozling. That was his first action. Second action, he's going to fight with his fire extinguisher. So I'm fight 5, 6 versus 2. I will play strong armed to make it 7 versus 2. Yeah, so 5, 6, 7. 7 versus 2. -5. choose up to 5 cards from your hand. Subject 8L devours each of those cards. You get +1 skill value for this test. I don't need to do that because I've passed. 7 versus 2 minus 5. I've still passed. We do +1 damage from the fire extinguisher. 2. +1 damage from strong armed. We don't need to do that. So strong arm goes to our discard pile. We do 3 damage to the oozling. Blob 1. So we take 1 health off the blob. I don't want to lose resources really, so third action from Hank is going to be to move back to the desiccated, to the temporary HQ. And that's it for Hank. Trish Scarborough is going to go. First thing she's going to do is she's going to put a token onto the red clock. That's not an action. That's the first thing that we do at the start of her turn. So first action, she's going to move across to the desiccated farmland. Second action, she's going to investigate. Now, she's investigate 4, 5 with a magnifying glass. We've got exactly 1 charge on the red clock, so we get +4 skill value. So I'm 8, 9 versus 3. 9 versus 3. We'll stick with that. 9 versus 3. Elder sign token. +2, and if this is an investigation, you may choose any revealed location and now investigate as if you're at that location instead. Well, there's no other revealed location, so that doesn't really come into play. But we've got Trish's special rule, which is after you discover 1 or more clues at a with a location with an enemy. Bugger. I should have played the deduction. I'm going to just backtrack. I would have played the deduction to get the additional clue. I need to learn. Sorry, my mistake. I'm playing deduction. Discover 1 additional clue. It's a bit cheaty, I know, but I didn't read that bit with an enemy. So we get 2. Trish gets 2 clues. 1. 2. Trish will then move back to the temporary HQ. Now that that one's been sorted. What's she going to do for her third action? She's going to draw a card for her third action. She's going to draw a card and she's got the Eldritch Sophist. Nice. That is nice. Okay. Investigation phase finished. Enemy phase, no enemies in play. We go to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready our investigators, should I say, at the temporary HQ. We get our actions back. Hank is going to get a resource up to 5. He's going to draw a card. He's going to get Profane Idol. We can only play it from our discard pile. Okay. Trish is going to get a resource up to 5. She's going to draw a card and she's got another shortcut. We go to the mythos phase. 2 of 6, Doom, on the agenda. Hank is going to draw a card. He's going to get another oozling. We'll put that oozling down here. That's where we're heading next, I think. Trish is going to draw a card. She's going to get devouring ooze. Oh. Test agility 3. If you fail, choose an ally or asset you control. Oof. Do not want to fail this. So I'm 4 versus 4. Oh, I should have returned magnifying glass to my hand. Because there's no clues at my location. Oh, okay, no, that's fine. I think I don't have to worry about that at the moment. So we're just going to go 4 against 4. 4 against 4. -5. We fail. Devouring ooze. And my backpack, which is an asset, gets put underneath subject 8L. We go to the investigation phase. I think it's going to be sort of like a bit of rinse and repeat, to be honest with you. So first action from Hank is going to be to move down to this quarantine zone. We'll flip it over. Oozy lake bed. 2 shroud, no clues. Okay, that's a bit of annoying. After a manifold enemy spawns at Oozy lake bed, place 1 clue on Oozy lake bed. That enemy cannot take damage this round. Obviously, the oozling engages Hank. For his second action, he will fight it using the fire extinguisher. So I'm 6 versus 2. I will play a long shot. Long shot says you may commit long shot to a fight or evasion test against an enemy at your location or a connecting location. If this test is successful, deal 1 damage to that enemy. So I'm 5, 6 versus 2. 4 up. Four up. -5. -5. Okay. Hold you on. I'm going to so I am 5 6 versus 2, minus 5 makes me 1 versus 2. I will put the profane idol underneath the subject because I can't get rid of it otherwise, really. So there's 2 cards underneath there now to get +1. So we equal it, which means we do, it's 2 and 2. We deal +1 damage, so 2, and then the damage from the long shot is the 3. And that is a skill. Oozling is dead. Blob takes a hit. Down to 43. Second action is to move back up to the temporary HQ. That was my third action, sorry. I need my gift of Nodens. Trish, first things first. We'll put a token onto the red clock, which is now 2. First action, we will play the Eldritch Sophist. Comes in with 3 secrets. I will exhaust the Eldritch. I can't do that. Got nothing to move it onto. Can't get above. Can't get above. That's fine. We will play a shortcut for 0, fast action, to move up to this quarantine zone. Shroud of 4 comes in with 2 clues. It's got an action on it. If there are no clues on the church, choose an ooze enemy at church or a connecting location. Move that chosen enemy 1 location away from church and automatically evade it. Group limit once per game. I'll then fast play in magnifying glass. I'll then spend 2 down to 3. 1, 2. To play working a hunch. Discover a clue at my location. Unfortunately, there's no enemy, so I can't get an additional clue. So she's got 3 clues. And then we'll try and investigate. But I'm only 5 against 4. I need to get some other stuff to move stuff from the red clock. Nothing in my hand. So my second action, although I've had quite a few actions this turn, is to just try and investigate at 5 versus 4. Yeah, unfortunately it's 5 versus 4. Five versus 4. That's -3. After this skill test ends, subject 8L devours each card that was committed to this test. Well, we didn't commit any cards to that test. And I think probably there's no harm in staying up there, really. So third action, I'm gonna grab a card. Field work. Okay. Okay. That's it for Trish. Enemy phase. No enemies in play. Upkeep phase. We ready up. We get our actions back. Hank is going to go to 6 resources. I'm going to draw a card. Resourceful. Right, there we go. There we go. Trish is going to go to 4 resources and she's going to draw a card and she's going to get, a Silver Twilight Acolyte. Comes into engage with her. Okay. That's it for the upkeep phase. We go to the mythos phase. We're at 3 of 6. 3 of 6. I'm going to draw a card for Hank. He gets corrosive slime. Revelation test will 4. For each point you fail by, subject 8L devours each one of your resources or a random card from your hand. Oh, God. On wheel 3. I don't really want this to happen. So I'm going to play a stout hide and a quick thinking to give me +3. So I'm 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. 6 versus 4. -1 for every 5 cards they're in. So that's 0. So we pass. And we pass by 2 or more. You may immediately take an action as if it were your turn. That's handy. Nothing else happens with stout-hearted. So we'll take an action and we'll move up to the church to be with Trish. Trish's card. Reality acid. 2 things from here. First one is -1. Second one, 0. -1 and 0. -1 and 0. Zero and -1. Subject 8L opens it more and devours itself, then regurgitates itself. Deal 1 damage to subject 8L. Oh wait, I'll take that. Down to 42. Down to 42. Reality acid goes. And that was it for the mythos phase. We go to the investigation phase. First up, first action, Hank will engage the Silver Twilight Acolyte. Second action, he's going to fight it. So with his fire extinguisher, 5, 6. I will put resourceful in here. And I will put an improvised weapon in as well. So it's -1 fight. So we are 5, 6, 7 versus 1. 7 versus 1. Zero. We're successful. We do 2 damage to it, first of all. That goes into there. If this skill test is successful, choose a survivor card not named resourceful in your discard pile. Add that chosen card to your hand. I'll choose Gift of Nodens. We'll take that into our hands. Resourceful goes. Third action is to fight it again. We're now 6 versus 2 though. Just the 6 versus 2, -4. 6 versus 2. -4. 6 versus 2. And we do enough damage to kill the Silver Twilight Acolyte. Quite a successful turn for Hank. Getting the gift is awesome. Oh, magnifying glass now stays in my hand because there is a clue at the location. First things first, we put a place a charge on there. I need something to put the charges onto. So she's got 2 additional actions this turn. 2 additional actions this turn. Four versus 4 is not great. 5 versus 4. Corrosive Slime's gone. So first things first, we're going to play a shortcut. We're going to move to a connecting location. She's going to move across to this quarantine zone here. Desiccated farmlands. So she's not used any actions yet. That comes in with 2 clues on it. Slightly easier. Slightly easier to get. Oh, I should have played field work. Why did I play that first of all? Such a first proper action. She's going to pay 2, down to 2 for field work. Should have played that. One, 2. Why did I not play that? Why did I play it like that? So that was her first proper action. Second action, she's going to move back. And she's going to exhaust field work. And then, so third action, she is going to investigate. So she's 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 against 4. Seven against 4. 0. We get the clue. She really needs something for Eldridge to be so second act. So that's her fourth action is to draw a card. She's got Lola, and her fifth action is to draw a card as well. And she's going to get, oh my God, Shadow Agents. Can't discover clues. Hunter. When it's engaged with you, you cannot discover clues except by investigating. After Shadow Agency is evaded, discard it. Well, I think Hank can just kill that. So that's Trish done. At the start of the round, investigators may spend the requisite number of clues as a group to advance. Not just yet, I don't think. That's it for the investigation phase. We go to the enemy phase. Shadow Agents is going to hit Trish for 2. 1. 2. Down to 6. Okay. I think that's it for enemies. We go to upkeep. Ready up. Get our actions back. Hank is going to gain a resource up to 7. He draws a card. He gets another improvised weapon. Trish goes up to 3 resources. She draws a card. She gets working a hunch. Okay. We go to the mythos phase. We put 4 of 6 on the agenda. Hank is going to draw a grasping ooze. Spawn nearest ooze field location. Well, that is going to be spawning in with him because it doesn't say empty location. So, oh, that's a big boy. 3 fight, 5 health, 3 to evade. Oh, after you perform an attack against grasping ooze using a melee card, subject 8L08 devours that card. Wow, that was... Should that be in there? Have I mistakenly left one in there? Let me just check. No, 1 copy of grasping ooze. So 1 is in there. Ouch. And Trish is going to draw... It got me. It's got me. Revelation. Put It's Got Me into your threat area. At the end of the round, place 1 resource on It's Got Me. Then if there are 6 or more resources, a subject 8L devours you. If you're in the research site, spend 1 countermeasure, discard It's Got Me. I haven't got any countermeasures. Ah! I need countermeasures. That's in with Trish. Oh, that's going to hurt. Oh, that was a bad turn. Investigation phase. Ouch. Oh. Right, let's start off with Hank. So he is gonna discard his fire action for his first action. Discard fire extinguisher. Evade. Automatically evade all enemies with you. You may exile fire extinguisher instead of discarding it to discard each non-elite enemy evaded by this effect. The grasping ooze is not an elite enemy. So I'm going to exile fire extinguisher because I'd lose it anyway by attacking him to get rid, discarding each non-elite enemy. That does blob 3. Nice. 1, 2, 3. But he's lost his fire extinguisher for good. It is exiled. It is gone. His second action, he's going to pay 2. So he's down to 5. play Gift of Nodens. He will also ooh. What's Trish going to do with his shadow agents? Not a lot. So I think Hank needs to take shadow agents on. Or do I not play Gift of Nodens just yet? Do I not play Gift of Nodens just yet? Because what I can do, yeah, second action, going to pay 1 down to 6. And I'm going to play Improvised Shield from my discard pile. And then third action is going to engage shadow agents. He can take a hit now. Means I don't get Gift of Nodens down, but that leaves Trish to sort through some stuff. We've got nothing at the minute that we can remove stuff from red clock, which is getting a bit frustrating. So we put another, we have to place a charge here. Or do we? Actually, I'm going to take those 3 as resources. After your turn begins, you may take all charges here as resources. So I'm going to take 3 to take her up to 6. 1, 2, 3. Then place a charge here. 1. If it has exactly 1 charge, you get +4 skill tests to the next skill test. So her turn starts. We should have readied up field work. I need a countermeasure. Well, how do I get countermeasures? How do I get countermeasures? Do we advance to get a countermeasure? We might have to. I think I might advance just to see. Oh, magnifying glass should have come back to my hand because there's no clues at church. First action, move to the desiccated farmland. We will tap field work. Then we will investigate. So we are going to be 4, 8, 10 versus 3. 10 versus 3. -5. 10 versus 3, -5, we pass. We get a clue. Then we're going to pay 2. So down to 4. 1, 2. For a fast action to play work and a hunch to get a clue. 6 clues. 1. Didn't even need to play magnifying glass. Oh dear, got to play magnifying glass. Second action, we'll pay 3, so down to 1. 1, 2, 3 to play Lola, giving us +1 intellect and +1 agility. We can use her to use resources to get clues. Third action. I'm going to just come back. I'm going to be a bit of a scaredy cat and come back to be with Hank. And that's it for Trish. We go to the enemy phase. Shadow Agents is going to hit Hank for 2. 2 goes on to the improvised shield. It's got 3. That's it for the enemy. Upkeep phase, we ready up. We get our actions back. Hank is going to gain a resource up to 7. He draws a card. He gets his weakness. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded. Attach where's part of that enemy and spawn it at connecting locations. So we're looking for an enemy. We've got nope. 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 Oozling. Oozling. Gains elusive. At the end of the round, Hank Samson takes 1 direct horror. So let's put it in the desiccated farmland. Trish is going to go up to 2 resources. She's going to draw a card and she's going to get a grim memoir. Now, here we go. Here we go. Oh, I can't play Lola. Get 3 resources back. Silly thing. 1, 2, 3. Can't play Lola because she isn't an ally and I've got the Eldritch out. And I don't have charisma. So there we go. That's that. Wasted action. My fault. But I will take my 3 resources back. Drew our grim memoir. That's cool. Right. At the end of the round, place a resource onto It Got Me. If it's got 6 on there, we are dead. So I need to find some countermeasures. But Hank's got a fair amount of stuff to deal with. Okay. Start of the round, Mythos phase. I am going to spend 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to see what this does. At the start of the round, investigators may spend the requisite number of clues to advance. Beware, advancing and expose the anomaly's weak spot. Let's see what happens. So I'm looking for a countermeasure. If this is the first time this act has advanced, read the following. You've seen the anomaly's true heart. It lies beneath the surface of the ooze, pulsing with unseen power and guiding its myriad forms with alien hunger. You suspect this organ, whatever it may be, holds the secret to destroying the anomaly once and for all. Regardless of how many times this act has advanced, read the following. After hours of investigation, you believe that you have pinpointed the creature's heart due to the way it shifts through the surface of its all-encompassing body. You know it won't stay at its current location for very long. Then you'll have to track it down again. Choose any ooze-filled location. Spawn the set-aside vulnerable heart at that chosen location. Right, vulnerable heart is this. X fight, no health, no to evade, massive retaliate. X is the amount of damage on vulnerable heart. Vulnerable heart cannot be evaded and cannot make attacks of opportunity. Vulnerable heart cannot have more than 15 damage to it. All excess damage is cancelled. So we are going to place that. Where are we going to place that? We'll place that in the desecrated farmyard as well. We flip it over. Extraterrestrial physiology. The creature's heart is exposed. Now's your chance. After any amount of damage is placed on vulnerable heart, place twice that amount of damage on subject 8L as well. While an investigator is at your location is attacking vulnerable heart, spend 1 clue. That investigator gets +2 for this attack. At the end of the round, you must advance. Don't get a countermeasure. Okay. We place 1 doom on the agenda, 5 of 6. We get Hank's card. He gets devouring ooze. Test agility 4. If you fail, choose an ally or asset you control. Okay. To be devoured. 4 versus 3. Nothing that he can do to help. Nothing that Trish can do to help. So we're going 4 against 3. 4 against 3. -1. We fail. The improvised shield is devoured. 3 cards underneath. Subject 8L. Actually, let's just do this. Oh God. 3. That's it. Trish gets consuming more. Revelation, test agility 3. Take 1 damage for each point you fail by. And then if we fail any cards, they're going to get devoured. I've got no agility cards that I can play. Oh, we should have ready that field work. So 3 on 4. 3 on 4. Three on 4. We lose by 1. We lose by 1. We take a damage. Gosh, down to 5. We go to the investigation phase. Be nice to be doing damage to vulnerable heart. But do I start off with tank? First action, I pay 1 down to 6 to play improvised weapon from my discard pile. It says the attacked enemy gets -1 fight. And if I played improvised weapon from my discard pile, we do +1 damage. So we are fight 5 versus 2. 5 versus 2. I think that's all I can do. 5 versus 2. -1 for every 5 cards, so it's minus something. So that's 2 damage to it. 2 damage to it. And when we play it from our discard pile, it actually gets shuffled back into my deck after resolving all the effects. We need to advance at the end of the round. So I've only got this round to do some damage to vulnerable heart, which, okay, not great, but is what it is. At least we know the mechanics now, what's going on. So that's my first action. Second action, I'm just going to try and punch it with an improvised weapon. Gets -1 fight, so I'm 2 versus 5. 2 versus 5. Two versus 5, 0. 1 damage. That kills the shadow agents. That goes to my discard pile. Third action. Finally, pay 2 down to 4. 1, 2. To play the Gift of Nodens. Right, Trish, what are you doing? I'm thinking first action, pay the Grim Memoir. Then at least we've got some soak for the red clock. Well, her turn's beginning, so I'm going to take this as a resource. So I'll go up to 6 resources. Then I'll place 1 charge on here. So I get +4 skill value to the next test. Then I'm going to first action, or if I move in there, the useling's going to engage with me. The useling's going to engage with me. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. How do I get countermeasures? Has Oozling got Hunter? No, it hasn't. Gains elusive. Oh, attached enemy gains elusive. So it will engage me, but then it will run off. I need to get rid of It's Got Me. That's really freaking me out. Actually, I'll take that back. Take back down to 5. I won't take the 1 value off. I'll keep it. So I then put 2 on. So I've got 2. So I've got 2 charges on there. I can move up to 3 times. So first action is going to be to move. 1, 2, 3. Let's come down to the research site. Oh, hang on, let's turn that over. Because we came through the crater. First of all, let's turn the crater over. 1 shroud, 2 clues, 4 clues. At the crater, we can spend it as an action, a countermeasure to deal 3 damage to subject 8L or a manifold enemy at any location. At the end of the round, each investigator takes 1 damage. Okay. Then we get down to the research site. Ah, here we go. Yes. Comes in, or no clues on it, 2 shroud. But we can spend 2 clues to gain 1 countermeasure. So second action, we'll spend the 2 clues. 1, 2. To get our countermeasure. And then for a third action, because we're at the research site, we'll spend that countermeasure to get rid of It Got Me. Feels like a bit of a waste to get the vulnerable heart out and not really use it. Oh, God. Right. That is it for the investigators phase. We go to the enemy phase. Vulnerable heart is massive, so it's not going anywhere. Oozling hasn't got Hunter. Just got Elusive, so they're just going to hang out there. No other enemies in play. So we go to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready up Trish. We're going to ready up Hank. Hank's going to get a resource up to 5. He's going to draw a card. He's going to get a leather coat. Quite nice. Trish is going to gain a resource up to 6. She's going to draw an emergency cash. We get our actions back. Now, some things are happening at the end of the round. At the end of the round, Hank Samson is going to take 1 direct horror because Ma is in, where's Pa's in play. So he's down to 4. Ouch. And then extraterrestrial physiology kicks in. At the end of the round, we must advance. So we go mere minutes after its exposure, the pulsating heart retreats back inside the creature's vast body. You have to wait for it to re-emerge in order to harm it once more. Remove all damage from vulnerable heart, well we didn't manage to, and set it aside out of play. The amount of damage that is removed from vulnerable heart in this way is X. If X is at least 1, read the following. Well, we didn't remove any damage from it. So we go to Act 3A. Blackwater's Bane. You may have managed to finally harm the creature directly, but in doing so, you've caused it to split even further. Each ooze enemy gains retaliate and loses the blob keyword. At the end of the round, you must advance. Okay. So vulnerable heart goes. We go to the mythos phase. Right, we're going to put 6 of 6 onto the agenda, which is going to cause it to pop. Oh, God. Right. Cracks in the earth. Oh, that's gone. From the centre of the crater, a ley line of glowing ooze worms its way underground. Cracks appear in the ground throughout the town, like tendrils reaching out to stake their claim on Blackwater. It's as though the creature is rooting itself into the earth as it grows. Will the world ever truly be rid of it? Choose two ooze-filled locations other than the crater without a couple of vulnerable heart. Subject 8L devours both of those locations along with non-ooze cards at those locations. Ooze enemies are instead discarded. Shuffle 1 copy of cubic ooze and 1 copy of grasping ooze into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. Right, okay, let's get those first of all. 1 copy of cubic ooze, 1 copy of grasping ooze, and the encounter discard pile. Into the encounter deck. Yeah. Give these a good shuffle. A cat weasel cut. And then we've got to discard 2 ooze fields. Let's get rid of desiccated farmland and ooze bed. They devour both of them. So, Matey Boy is going to have 5 cards under him now. They are devoured. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is now one on there. So let's just make that 1. Oh, we can move this to be a little bit more accessible. Okay, now we've done that. We'll flip over to agenda 2A. The creature from inside the meteorite continues to digest Blackwater whole. By day 2, nearly all of the town is covered in vibrant green slime. Acid slowly eats away at buildings, the streets, even the dirt. Will it ever cease? Each location is connected to each location adjacent to it, orthogonally. Over a bit. 6 doom on that. I think we've got to do this. At the end of the round, you must advance. So we're going to have to do this, I think. I think we've got to do that. It's the end of the round. Let's do it. If this is the first time the actors advance, read the following. Throughout your struggles, an alien presence has watched your progress with curiosity. Now they descend from orbit in order to hatch their plot. Shuffle each set aside MyGo drone enemies into the encounter deck along with the encounter discard pile. MyGo drones. MyGo drones are going in. Cat weasel cut again. Regardless of how many times this actor's advanced, read the following. As the hours pass, the ooze seeps back into the ground and lies dormant once more. Place one clue per investigator on each ooze field locations to a maximum of its clue value. So church is going to get 2 on it. Desiccated farmland is going to get 2 on it. And I think that's it because there's no others that are open if you like. The crater's already full. Research site's got no clues on it. The lead investigator chooses one random set-aside story card and draws it. There's 4 story cards. I'm going to do this and not look. And we'll have this one, the top one. Those can go back. So we've got Drive Off the Migo, Part 1. Reports from the survivors throughout the town tell of another force of creatures descending from above and collecting globes of ooze from all over Blackwater. What are those other alien creatures and what is their goal? Revelation. Spawn the set-aside Migo General at Fungus Mound. Migo General. Migo General. Oh, he's a bit of a beast. He is 5 health, 5 fight, 8 health, 2 to evade. After he attacks you, move one of your clues to Fungus Mound. He spawns at Fungus Mound. And then we place 2 clues on Fungus Mound, 1 clue per investigator. Put this card into play next to the act. We'll do that in a sec. Forced. If Migo General is defeated or if there are no clues on the Fungus Mound, remember that the Migo was driven off. Flip this card over. If there are 4 or more, if there are 8 clues on the Fungus Mound, remember the secret of ooze was stolen. So let's put this, we'll put this down here so we know what we're doing. Reset the act deck to Act 1A. And then we can spend clues to advance back to 4 clues. We need to get those clues off of Fungus Mound. That's the priority now, is to get those off Fungus Mound. Blimey O'Reilly, that was a bit of a beast. We're still in the mythos phase. So Hank has got to draw a card. Hank is going to draw Wave of Ooze. Test will 3. Take 1 horror for each point you fail by. Ooh, okay. So I'm currently 3 versus 3. Okay, it is 3 versus 3. Three versus 3. Auto fail. Oh God, we lose by 3. We're going to take a horror for each point we fail by. So we're going to take 3 horror down to 2. Ouch. 1. 2. 3. That was harsh. Harsh for Hank. Trish is going to draw her card. She's going to get Reality Acid. We're drawing the tokens. First token is -2. Second token is +1. -2 +1. +1 -2 then. So devours our friendships. +1 and -1. -2. Until the end of the round, investigators cannot commit cards to each other's skill tests. Well, that's not too bad, because they're not going to be doing that. I do like that. That's good fun. It's good fun. Right, we go to the investigation phase. Now, what we could do is we could just wait for the MyGo General to come out, because he has got a hunter, so he's going to move to here. And then to here. Trish doesn't want to be here. She needs to stay here, really. Trish needs to stay here, because the MyGo General can come out this turn. Second turn he can move there, and then we can swip in and get rid of those clues, hopefully. I don't think we're going to try and defeat him. We're going to try and get the clues. 5 fight, 8 health, just not set up for that at the moment. So we know what Trish is doing. She's going to just sort of chillax at the research site. What does she, for her first action? Let's just work through what Trish has got. And I think we should be good. She can move up to 3 times. That's not really going to be useful. No, actually, we're going to... So let's start off with Trish. We're going to put a charge onto the red clock, which takes us up to 3 charges. We get 2 additional actions this turn. Her first additional action is going to pay 3, down to 3. 1, 2, 3, to play the Grim Memoir. It comes in with 4 secrets on it. Her second additional action this turn is to move up to the crater. Her third action is going to be to investigate using the Grim Memoir, but she will tap field work. And she'll fast play in her magnifying glass. So we'll take a charge off of the Grim Memoir. So we are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 against 1. 9 against 1. 0. We get a clue. There are no enemies in play, unfortunately. She gets a clue. Her fourth action is going to be to investigate. 4, 5, 6, 7. I did succeed by 2 or more, so I'm going to draw a card. We get another Grim Memoir. So this time round, she is 4, 5, 6, 7 against 1. Seven against 1. 0. We're successful. We get the clue. We were successful by 2 or more, so we draw a card. We get a treachery. Put it into play. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 5 when checking your hand. Okay, I'm all right with that. We've only got 3 cards anyway. But we do get the second clue. We will exhaust the Eldritch Sophist to move one charge, one secret or charge to another asset controlled. So we'll move one across to the Grim Memoir, which means we'll get 2 additional actions next turn. Third action, she'll move back down, or her last action, 5th action, she'll move back down to the research site. Magnifying glass will come back into our hand. So we're now 1, 2, 3, 4. Hank, we've got to try and kill this oozling. So first action, it's got elusive. Got elusive. Don't think there's anything I can do about elusive. Okay. Okay. First action from Hank is going to be to move into the desiccated farmland, engaging the oozling. Second action is to just to punch it in the face. 5 versus 3. Gift of Nodens. When I commit cards to a skill test, I'm going to commit leather coat to it. Hang on a sec. No. Just backtrack for a second. Before I move, I'll draw a card. So first action was draw a card. Second action was to move. Third action was to try and punch the oozling. I'll commit helping hand to the test. You may commit helping hand to any type of test, maximum committed once per test. While helping hand is committed to a skill test, double the skill icons of each other card committed to that test. I will then use Gift of Nodens to discard my leather coat. And commit a chosen, I can take a skill card from my discard pile. I'll take resourceful. And I'll commit that to this test. So I'm now fight 5, 6, 7. There's 2 fight icons. 2 fight icons. 7 versus 2. Seven versus 2, -2. We are successful. We just deal the 1 damage to the oozling. Helping Hand goes into our discard pile. Resourceful. I will choose Survivor card Meat Cleaver and put it into my hand. Resourceful goes to my discard pile. Then the oozling is elusive. So it runs away and exhausts. Pretty sure that's what elusive does. Let me just check. Yep, runs away and exhausts. And that was Hank's third action. We lose a resource because we're at the desiccated farmland down to 4. I think that's it. Enemy phase. No enemies in play. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. Hank gains a resource up to 5. He draws a card. He gets a Peter Sylvester. That's very handy. Trish gains a resource up to 4. She draws a card. She gets In the Shadows. Okay. We get our actions back. At the end of the round, Hank Samson takes 1 direct horror. Down to 1. Anything else happening at the end of the round? Oh, Hunter. Hunter will hunt, sorry. He will come here. And we're not, field work will ready up as well. Check our hand size for Trish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're all good for drawing the sign. Oh, reduced by 5, so I can only have 3. It's reduced by 5. Oh, sugar. Oh, sugar. We can have 8, so we're going to keep 3. Well, we'll get rid of Lola because we can't play her. Grim Memoir we're going to get rid of because we don't need that anymore. And we don't need the emergency cash. So we'll keep In the Shadows and Magnifying Glass. Ooh. The oozling readies at the end of the round or during the upkeep phase, so it's now ready. I think that's it. We go to the mythos phase. 1 doom of 6 on the agenda. Hank is going to draw a card. Hank gets replication. Find the manifold enemy with the most damage on it. Discard cards from the top of the deck until a manifold enemy with equal or lower printed health is discarded. Spawn that enemy at the same location, then distribute the damage that is on both enemies so that the remaining health on both enemies is as equal as possible. If no enemies spawned by this effect, replication gains surge. So we're looking for an enemy with a health of 3 or less. Another oozling. So 2 more oozlings are at the church. And I can't, that's as even as I can spread it. Yeah, that's it. Trish is going to get caustic dissemination. Put it into play next to the agenda deck. At the end of the round, each investigator at an Newsfield location takes 1 damage and 1 horror. Subject 8L devours each card defeated by this effect. What? Each investigator at an location takes 1 damage and 1 horror. Subject 8L devours each card defeated by this effect. I don't get that. Each investigator at a Newsfield location takes 1 damage and 1 horror. Subject 8L devours each card defeated by this effect. Discard caustic dissemination. I don't know. I don't understand that card. I understand obviously the minus the horror and stuff, but that's just caused us a problem. Two additional actions. Okay, we go on to investigator phase. Actually, I'm going to put the damage onto this one. I can do that. Spread the damage. There's a reason for that. Let's start with Trish. She's going to put a counter on the red clock, which is going to give her 2 additional actions this turn. I am gonna, first action, I'm gonna spend 2 clues. One, two, to gain a countermeasure. Second of 5 actions, she's going to move to the crater. She will exhaust field work to give us +2 to the next skill value. We'll fast play magnifying glass. We'll investigate with the grim memoir. So for her first proper action, because she's done that, then moved. That's her 2 additional actions. So her first proper action, she'll investigate. She is currently 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 versus 1. -5. So we still have smashed it. We get a clue. We draw a card. Pathfinder. So done that, moved, investigated, still got 2 actions left. Right, 4th action. She's going to spend that countermeasure to do 3 damage to any subject, AL or manifold creature at any location. She's going to kill this oozling here for 3. Blob 1. So do another damage to the blob. That oozling goes. Where's Pa is now out of the way. Her 5th action. She's going to move back down to the research site. There weren't any enemies in play in those areas, so I don't get the additional clue. And that's it for Trish. Actually, before she finishes, I'll exhaust Eldritch Do Free Boy to move one of these to the Grim Memoir. Hank's turn. Fairly straightforward, I think. First action is to gain a resource up to 6. And then spending 2 actions is going to pay 6. To play a meat cleaver and a Peter Sylvester. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down to 0. That's it for Hank. Okay. We go to the enemy phase. My go general is going to move down to try and track down. Or does he go up? Does he go up to Hank? Yeah, actually, let's hunt him. He's going to go after Hank. Up to there. That oozeling's just going to chill out. Oh, hang on. I have made a mistake. Oh, no. Okay. No, we can do that. We can do that. It's not direct. Go to the upkeep phase. We're going to ready up. We are going to ready up. Going to get our actions back. Hank is going to get a resource up to 1. He's going to draw a card. Gets a mob enforcer. What are they doing out and about? How come they've snuck in? And Trish is going to get a resource up to 5. She's going to draw a card and she draws another Pathfinder. Is that it for upkeep phase? I think it is. At the end of the round, each investigator on newsfield takes 1 damage and 1 horror. So Hank is going to take 1 damage on himself, down to 3. And then 1 sanity is going to go on to Peter. It doesn't say direct damage. That's what I was just checking. We discard that. I don't know what it means by saying it. Subject AL devours each card defeated by this event, this effect. We go to the mythos phase. 2 of 6. Hank's going to draw a card. He gets a cubic ooze, of course he does. 1 fight, 4 health, 4 to evade. Revelation. Immediately attempt to evade cubic ooze. If you succeed, spawn cubic ooze at your location, exhaust and unengaged. 4. 4 versus 3. 4 versus 4 with Peter. No cards get rid of. 4 versus 4. Come on. Come on. 4 versus 4. We get a 0. Bosh. If we succeed, it spawns at my location engaged, exhausted and unengaged. Nice. So, oh my goodness, we need a bit more space. Need a bit more space. There. Trish is going to get a MyGo drone. 3 fight, 1 health, 1 to evade. Spawn location with most clues other than fungus mound. It will be the crater. It will be the crater. At the start of the enemy phase, if MyGo drone is ready, move 1 clue from MyGo's drone location to focus mound. We go to the investigation phase. Wow, Hank is a bit stuffed. Oh, he's got the mob enforcer. Let's start off with Trish. Let's start off with Trish. She puts 1 secret or 1 charge onto the red clock. She's got 3 charges on her, gives her 2 additional actions this turn. She's going to spend the first one of those additional actions to pay 3 for Pathfinder, down to 2 resources. 1, 2. Her second free action. Oh, no. Then she's going to exhaust Pathfinder to move for 1. Her second 3 action is going to be to move. We'll flip this quarantine zone over. Comes in with 2 clues on it. The water tower. 4 shroud. Action: if there are no clues on water tower, test intellect 3 to find the structure's weakness. If you succeed, deal 3 damage to each ooze enemy at the water tower and each connecting location. Well, there's none at the minute. So then she's going to move for, oh actually, hang on a sec, how many have I used? 1 free to play the Pathfinder. Then we move there. Second free move, or second free action, was to move up to this quarantine zone. 5 shroud, 2 clues. Test intellect 1. If you succeed, move up to X locations away from the sewer. Her first proper action is going to be to move into the fungus mound. Five shroud. Ooh. 5 shroud. She's got 2 actions to get the 2 clues. So she's going to exhaust field work. Used to come off as well. and she's going to investigate for her fourth action using the grim memoir. So she is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 against 5. -3, 9 against 5. That makes us 6 against 5. We win. We didn't succeed by 2 or more, unfortunately. But we do get the clue. Oh, no, she's got 2 clues. 1, 2. And 2 resources. For her fifth action, she's going to investigate using the grim memoir. So we're now 4, 5, 6, 7 against 5. I will put in the shadows, which gives me 2 wilds. So 2, 4, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9 again. 9 against 5. Zero. We get the second clue from Fungus Mound. We draw a card because of Grim Memoir. We get Blur. We'll exhaust Eldridge Sophist to move 1 secret or charge. We'll move it from the red clock to the Grim Memoir. Am I playing this wrong? Uses 3 secrets, exhaust him, move a secret or charge from an asset you control to another. No, it doesn't say use a secret. It doesn't say spend 1 secret. So I'm all good. Now, there are no clues on the Fungus Mountain. Remember the MyGo were driven off. So let's read this. We drove them off. Chittering unnaturally, the alien general flees. Its strange weapon unhinges from its arm and clatters to the ground in front of you as it flies into space. Put the set aside MyGo weapon story asset into play under any investigator's control. Add MyGo General and this card to the victory display. Search the encounter deck discard pile and all play areas for each copy of MyGo drone and remove them from the game. Gain 1 countermeasure. Nice, let's put that in straight away. So MyGo drone, MyGo General. Well, he goes to the victory display. We're looking for MyGo drones. Don't think there's any in there. MyGo drones. 2, 3. I think there was 4. Oh, was there only 3? Must have been only 3. Oozling, oozling, grasping ooze, no. That goes there. We get the alien weapon. My go weapon. Uses 3 ammo. Spend 1 ammo. Fight. The device fires a blast of entropic energy. You get +2 fight and deal +1 damage for this attack. If you succeed and the enemy is not defeated, move it 1 location away from you. If you succeed by 3 or more, deal +1 damage and move that enemy an additional location away. Okay, we'll give that to good old Hank. I think that's it for Trish. Well done, Trish. Okay, Hank. Got no cards. I've got no cards. Seven versus 4. Right, so Hank's going to go. Hank's going to fight with the My Go weapon. Do I try and hit him with the meat cleaver? We've got 1 sanity left, so we're doing +2. We could kill Peter. We could kill Peter to actually kill him. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to fight with the meat cleaver. +2, because I've got 3 or fewer remaining sanity. As an additional cost to initiate this ability, you may take two as an additional cost to initiate this ability. You may take 1 horror to do this, do +1 damage. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on Peter, which unfortunately kills poor old Peter. But we've got resourceful that can bring him back. So I'm 7 against 4. And that's as good as I can do. 7 against 4. -3. We do it. After this skill test ends, subject devours each card that was committed to this test. Didn't commit any. We do it. We do +2 damage. Mob Enforcer is deceased. That was my first action. Second action, let's get down to the crater. We don't want to be in the crater. So let's move down. Third action, we'll move down to the research site. 3 actions, let's get away. 38 health, blimey. We've been going for 2 hours and 36 minutes. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. This could be a 2-parter. I think it is going to be a 2-parter actually. So, let's move to the enemy phase. Let's just try and see if there's anything we need to do when we finish the round or finish the investigation phase. We don't. We go to the enemy phase. This oozling is just hanging out. And that's not ready. We go to the upkeep phase. We ready up. We ready up. Hank gains a resource up to 2. Gets his actions back. He draws a card. He gets a gift of Nodens. Trish gains a resource up to 3. She draws a card. She draws a backpack. That cubic ooze readies, but it hasn't got Hunter. So it's just going to hang out at that location. We haven't got 4 clues, so we can't get the heart out yet, but we can do the heart maybe next turn. Maximum hand size is reduced by 5, so I can only hold 3 cards. I've got 3 in my hand. Magnifying glass actually should come back to my hand, so I'll get rid of the backpack. And I think after 2 hours and 38 minutes, we'll call this session 1. We'll call this session 1. And we will see how we get on in the next session. But this is a really good scenario. I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. Those 2 hours and 40 minutes have gone really quickly. And we've managed to do a total of 7 damage to the blob. But we're not too bad. Hank needs to sort of get with the program a little bit, but Trish seems to be a little bit of a beast. Anyway, that's it. I will see you on session 2 of the Blob That Ate Everything, and hopefully he doesn't continue to eat everything, but we'll see how we get on. Ta-ra for now.